An email that was dropped in the latest batch of the Epstein files suggests Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell may have committed crimes on this public land. Let's get into it. Okay, it started out with this email that was sent in 2019 to a conservative radio host, and it was written, encrypted, by someone who said that they were a former staffer at Zorro Ranch, which is Jeffrey Epstein's property in New Mexico. We know this ranch was a place that he brought girls to, as well as friends and business partners. I've been sifting through emails where he did a lot of business with people flying them in and out. But this is really important. Now, again, this person said that they were a former staffer. They give links to videos to try to prove that they were a former staffer of his. And they say, look at the highlighted part. It says, somewhere in the hills outside of Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on the orders of Jeffrey and Madam G. Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex. To our knowledge, there was never an investigation at Zorro Ranch. The property was never, ever searched. So the land commissioner in New Mexico wrote a letter to the state's DOJ asking them to open an investigation into this public land that had been leased by Jeffrey Epstein. I spoke with her about this. I want to play you a little bit of our interview. Do you have any way of knowing what this land was used for?
From our reading of the historic documents, what it seems like is like the state land was used almost as a buffer, a shield, to hide what activity was occurring on the ranch.
To insulate the ranch.
Absolutely. Insulate visibility to what was occurring there.
Are you concerned that this public land might actually be a potential crime scene here? I mean, is that what we're talking about?
Absolutely. If state land was used for criminal activity, that is definitely something New Mexicans need to know. Those are answers that victims and survivors need to have.
So let's talk about the land around Zorro Ranch. So this is the map. Anything you see in blue outlined in yellow here was leased property that he had. So basically, he had his ranch and then he leased the public land. And when you lease public land, you agree to be a good steward of the land. And so in the contract, it said he was going to use it for agriculture, which according to the land commissioner, from their records, was not done. And also Ghislaine Maxwell ended up being on this lease as an uninterested third party, which we know she was not. So believe it or not, when you go to cancel a lease of public land, it can't be because he died. It can't be because he was found out to be this child trafficker. It had to have been for a different considered legitimate reason. And so they were able to cancel his lease in 2019 because of Ghislaine Maxwell's signature on there that they thought was misrepresented, and because he didn't use it for agriculture. The commissioner tells me that if the DOJ on the state or federal level is not going to cooperate with them and open an investigation, that she already has interest from local law enforcement partners who are willing to help. They have a ground-penetrating radar, cadaver dogs that they think might be able to be of service to look for these girls. Since the lease was canceled in 2019, it has not been leased out to anyone again, in part so that it could be used for an investigation if it needed to be. And the commissioner tells me that there is a potential that they use a small piece of it for a memorial for these survivors. Also notable, not technically related to this, just interesting, Jeffrey Epstein was never required to register as a sex offender in New Mexico because of the law at that time. Remember, he had been convicted more than 10 years before his arrest.